Sunshine TV. We are down here at KO Combat Academy with the one and only Bradley Heason. How are you doing today, sir?
Yes, mate, I'm all good, thank you.
Good to hear. So we just want to talk a bit about your fighting career. I guess the first part to start off with is how did you discover Muay Thai?
Yeah, so I was studying at Leeds Uni, at Leeds Met, and I was like typical, just going out getting wrecked. Wasn't looking after myself. Started doing I played a bit of five-a-side, but that was just like once a week, twice a week. So me and my housemate started going gym, doing weights and stuff, and then I don't think it was even a year, but just got super bored of it. It's just very repetitive. It just wasn't that engaging, and one of my best mates from back home had started like boxing, doing a bit of MMA, and I was thinking about that stuff, and I was just chatting to someone in my class in marketing, Luke Imerson, who's from Bad Company Gym, and I always put him on because he was literally the one who first said the words Muay Thai to me, because I was chatting to him in class about, I might do boxing, blah blah, and he was like, you should try Muay Thai. And then went home, YouTubed it, and as soon as I was looking at videos of it, I think I was on a bit of a spiritual journey as well. I didn't want to just box and fight, and boxing and MMA, like I respect them, but they haven't got the same spirituality, I think, as something like Muay Thai does. And I was just a bit fascinated by it straight away. So I always shout out Luke, because he put me onto it. And actually, you know what as well, that was my first lesson, because Luke was like super chill, like not timid, but he just a laid back guy. And I've known him for about 2-3 years at this point, bear in mind, and he never told me he did. He's like, at the time he was like number 8 in the UK. And I don't know, as you know, sometimes you meet boxers, even some Thai boxers, and the first conversation they'll tell you, yeah, I box, I'm a fighter, da 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 da. So that was my first lesson in like humility. Like Luke just didn't even tell me, he told me. And I was just like, whoa. And do you know what, that was another cool lesson. Like as soon as he said that, like he was number 8, it was like this light just changed around him. Like he'd just gone from being like a normal guy to like a Super Saiyan or something. I was just like, whoa, this guy's a savage, basically. And I was just like, that's cool as fuck. But yeah, that's how.
How long was it before you decided you wanted to fight, and what made you want to fight?
So like I say, I started training. I think I needed a new hobby. My spirit needed sorting out and stuff. And like I said, I was at Leeds, so I didn't know back then, but I started a Bad Company with like Luke, and I wasn't obviously in that class, I was in beginners, but it's actually Lisa, I'd say, was Richard's wife. She was an awesome coach, and Badger as well, if you know Badger. I used to get there early on Thursdays, and every time he'd be like, 5 rounds champ, and then he'd do like 5 rounds with him. Obviously he wouldn't batter me, but he'd school me. So I shout out Badger, he helped me develop a lot, and I've obviously graduated, so I trained there for maybe about 6 to 8 months, I'm not really sure, but if I'm honest, I wasn't super committed even from the start. I loved it, but I was still a pothead student doing a dissertation, so I wasn't there all the time. So after I graduated, I really liked it and thought, I'm going to go to Thailand. So I worked for about a year in a hotel to save money, went to Thailand, and that was more so just to train with the Thais. And you've probably been there, but every day they're like, you want to fight, you win. I was just like, nah, for about a month. And then I can always remember the time you actually say, yes, I'll fight. It's quite a mad feeling. It's like, yeah, right, we're actually going to have a fight. So yeah, it was about 6 or so months training in UK, and about a month's training in Thailand. And then that's when I thought, fuck it, I'm going to go for it. And best decision ever, innit? That was like, started a new path in my life.
I mean, one thing I think anyone who's seen you fight before will talk about is your style. For me, myself, I think it's very clean, very technical. You display all the weapons of Muay Thai. For those who don't know, haven't seen you fight before, how would you describe your style, and also how did you develop that particular style of fighting?
I think, obviously now I'm more into it, I understand the intricacies more, and obviously to put it subtly, I consider myself like a Muay Thai, which basically means a classic boxer, which stems back to like the golden era. Muay Thai, which is like 80s, 90s, where all the fighters were very well rounded. Like you say, they excelled in all the weapons. But I think when I got into training, even when I was younger, when I played football, I loved Beckham, and I used to practice free kicks. I used to love like pinpoint accuracy. When I played basketball, I loved like 3-pointers, and I did a bit of cricket. I love like spin bowlers. So basically what I'm saying is I always loved technique. That's something I realised once I went into Muay Thai, something I always admired was like skills and technique. So yeah, when I first started training, I've always said, I just want to have like good skills, good technique. You know, I practice my left kick non-stop, which is like my bread and butter now. You know, even when I'm knackered, I can throw a left kick more than a jab, I would say, in a fight. So yeah, I think generally I want to see myself like a skilled fighter. And another thing is, like you said, I want to be clean. So it's something I always say in classes in the gym. You never want to look flustered. I never want to look panicky. I never want to look like I'm not in control of myself. So I want to keep good shape, good balance. And again, I think that comes back to like the Muay fever, like having good skills, not being reckless, you know.
I know you recently went to Thailand a few months ago. How long did you stay out there, and what gym were you?
Yeah, so I did a few months in 2016 at a gym called Ratachai in Phuket. 2018, I did a month at Sitjalpo, which is really good, with the one where the twins are from. I trained a lot with Jai Pet from there, who's quality. Then went back to Ratachai, did a couple of weeks in Samui with the gym. And then yeah, last year I did 7 months at Samar Payakarun gym. And it's a funny story really, like my original plan was to go a week at Samart's, a week at PK Sanchai, and a week at FA Group. And my original plan was to choose out of PK and FA, where to do my stint. And just after that first week at Samart's, like, because it's not in central Bangkok, it's a bit more chill. It's not such a crazy gym. It's not that popular for like foreign Thai boxers to go train and fight. It's a bit more. It's not even commercial. It's just generally pretty quiet, basically. But that has its benefits, right? You get a lot of attention. You build a good bond with the trainers, and obviously like Samart's there. And then soon you realise like his brother Komtarani, he was actually more decorated than Samart in the stadiums. Samran Satmang Surim was there, who's also a legend. And mate, you just get these guys passing, like Samart's was like the spot basically. You just get these guys just passing through to come play a game of cards and smoke a couple ciggies and have a beer and go home, like Diesel Noi, Karuha, Sagat, Khao Thai Galaxy, like the list, Cowpong, Somrak, like if you know, you know, I know all these names, they're like silly guys. So yeah, I did 7 months there. And I just thought, I'm just going to stay here basically. I did 1 day in Central, where I visited FA and PK, and it was just too crazy, man. Central Bangkok's crazy. And it was like being homesick. So I did a week at Samart's, moved to Central, and the same night, yeah, so I trained in the day, same night, I rang the gym back up and was like, you still got my room? They're like, yeah, you left like 7 hours ago. And I just went straight back to the gym, and yeah, just cracked on from there. But yeah, the gym's quality, like, you know, you haven't got many foreigners there my size to spar with. But I think in Thailand, like, a bit of play sparring with some Thais goes a long way, because you're training so hard and you fight regularly. You don't need, like here, you want to have a hard spar every now and then to get you tuned up for your fight, whereas out there you train so hard that, and light play is good, especially with like little Thais who are quick, your skills have to be good. And if you're fighting like every month or whatever, I think it's perfectly fine.
Now you mentioned about fighting. You did have a number of fights out in Thailand, also fought at Raja Stadium. How was that experience?
Oh, the best, mate. I'd say fighting at Raja is still like probably the best moment of my life so far. It's like different, you know, like when I first had a fight, it's very memorable, and you know, your first win or like good performance is good, but Raja's like always been like the Mecca, isn't it? And it is different now, like, you know, like 10, 20 years ago, not anyone could fight at Raja, you had to be a certain level. Whereas the show that I fought on, the Raja Knockout, you could kind of get, anyone could pretty much fight on there now. But, you know, I did beat myself up a bit at first, like, oh, it's not that special, but I think it's about who you fight. I've always said that to people, especially with bouts and blah blah blah. I think it's about the names you fight, and whilst they weren't big names, the guys I fought at Raja, they were all really skilled. They were like really good matches for me, and they were good fights. So yeah, mate, fighting at Raja was so cool. Like you just sat there looking around. As you know, like in Thailand, when the fight's on, you just sit next to your partner, like literally a chair, like your legs are basically touching. You just sat there like that, you're just watching the fight, and you just look around, you'd be like, fucking hell, I'm about to have a go at Raja, it's so good. But yeah, it was really cool. I fought a Thai fight as well, which was a cool experience. The opponent wasn't very good, which was gutting, but just being at the venue and getting like the rope wraps was pretty crazy. Yeah, but yeah, Raja is definitely a core memory that I'll never forget.
Talk about some of the culture and just the stuff that you did like that. I know you went to a few temples, the fat gang tattoos, it's all part of the Thai culture. How did you adapt to that? And I guess, yeah, how did you adapt to the culture? Is it, I know, is it something you're familiar with the culture? Is it?
I think obviously because I've done a couple of stints out there before, and like I've never gone out there to party and stuff, so I'm just literally training, chilling with the Thais, blah blah blah. This time I was a bit more accustomed, but this time especially because the gym is a bit out in the middle of nowhere and I wasn't with anyone. Like other times I went out with mates. I spent a lot more time just at the gym and with the Thais, tried to pick up a bit of the language. But I think what makes Thailand just one of the best countries in the world is just their kindness. It's something that they always just look after you. They wear their heart on their sleeve. And kind of here you can kind of get a feeling like people are putting, not everyone, but most people were putting on a bit of a mask, like that, hey mate, how you doing, da 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 da, whereas there, just everything feels very more genuine. And yeah, stuff like the Sakyan, it's not, you're not just, everyone just gets tattoos and stuff. I always said if I'm going to get a tattoo, I need it to mean something to me. And obviously when I fell in love with Muay Thai, the Sakyan, and I learned about it a bit more, it had more meaning to me. And they all have different meanings and like blessings basically. And you've got to believe in them and understand them for them to work. It's not like, oh, if I get this tattoo, I'm going to be strong. You've got to like understand it. And I think that's what made me like it a bit more. And they're just cool as well. They're like ancient. They got that ancient look. I don't really want like the big, like, no offense to anyone, but like the big like koi fish and flames and all the colours and stuff. That's just not really me. But yeah, the culture is like everyone looks out for each other. Like Samar's gym, he's almost like a dad for everyone. He's the provider. We all eat together. It's like you've got all these different people living under one roof, and I think the beauty of it is very simple. Here it's like we all need a job, we all need to pay bills. You always need to it's stressful basically, whereas there it was just like, it's just one, I don't know how to describe it, it's like just one big family where you've got money coming in from different things, but it's like it's just shared with everyone. Whether it's the little Thai boys that sleep at the gym, or the cleaners and the cooks and the trainers, everyone's just under that one roof and everyone's looked after, so it's pretty laid back,
Now you mentioned about picking up the language. One thing I don't think we can skip over is the viral video of you walking through the shopping centre.
It's English thing.
Yeah, how did that come about? Or
How you say this?
McDonald. How you say?
McDonald's.
อ๋อไปเรียนมาใหม่ McDonald.
McDonald.
Yes.
Oh, McDonald. เข้าใจครับ McDonald.
How you say?
Starbucks.
No, you need to
ผิด
speak more than it. Yes.
Starbucks.
Yes. Okay. Correct.
Starbucks.
yeah.
Yeah, I got a shout out Toffee, or and everyone calls her Toffee, but she's got like a YouTube channel, Tough Gun Pilot, and she's one of the ladies I met at Samar's. She's really nice, she speaks good English, and she was really nice, man. She'd always offer to take us out to do stuff outside of fighting, like took us to a shooting range and took us to a mall and stuff like that. And yeah, that day she took me with the guy in the video. He's like a big YouTuber, and I can't remember if he worked there, but basically he took me in this room and it had like just rows of guns in it, like I'm talking like big, like shotties, pistols, like automatic rifles and everything. And took me to the shooting range, blah blah. And we're walking around the mall with this guy, and Toffee's like, "You just need to do a video of like Thai speaking and English speaking." And you know, like the guy started being like, "McDonald, how you say this?" And I'm like, "McDonald's." And they were like, "We need to record this. We need to record this." So I think what it did well, it was just like a natural conversation, and then they ended up just recording it. But God, she messages me all the time, being like, "You need to do more of that content," because mate, that got like, I don't know how many it got, but it got like over 2 million views, and I got loads of followers off it. It got shared in like China and Thailand, and loads of different channels were sharing it. So I need to do more of that stuff by the sounds of it.
Now you're back in fighting in the UK. I mean, you recently fought on Hitman League versus Combat Fight Series against Junior Coleman. How did it feel fighting back in the UK after being in Thailand for so long?
I think naturally I'd had like put a lot of pressure on myself, because like you say, like I'm not well known, but people in the scene know me, so it's like they knew I was fresh home from Thailand, and whether or not they're expecting something, to me I am expecting that, right? Like I think every fighter will agree, as you will, like we're our own harshest critics, so if anyone's expecting the most, it was me. And you know, I think the best thing is, like I've always said to people, experience is the best teacher. So doing like 5 fights in 7 months, like that's churning out a good few fights, so you feel more comfortable in the ring. So I think coming back into the ring, whilst I had the pressure on myself, I was still more used to, and fighting at places like Raja, you know, I put the most pressure on myself ever fighting in that place. But it's a big show as well, like, you know, Hitman versus Combat Fight Series is probably, I'd say, one of the biggest shows, if not the biggest show in the UK now. So yeah, a lot of pressure, but I was buzzing for it, to be honest. I wanted to show that I'd leveled up, I wanted to show my skills, and I think that came out in the performance. Like you were saying earlier, I showed all the weapons, I did a bit of everything: punch, kick, knee, elbow, tee, clinch. Whereas in the past, like, I am technical, but it was always the left kick, you know, like that was the bread and butter. Whereas this time, I got to show a bit more of my true self, which is kind of my own personal goal. Is not about just having a war and banging people out. I've just always wanted to prove that I can be like this Muay Thai, this skillful fighter.